the cage.
The BJJ black belt from Finland, Henri Lintula, has never gone the distance, and all his victories have come on the ground in the first round. Quinten, hybrid Viking DeVreught, a Dutchman fighting out of Norway, is a striker with various TKO victories on his record and a stoppage rate of 67%. Will this be a walk in the park for Lintula on the ground? Or will the hybrid Viking strike the biggest victory of his career? Ladies and gentlemen, we give you Henri Lintula versus Quinten DeVreught.
To the blue corner, Quinten DeVreught.
Last time we saw him was at Cage 55 in September, where he went two tough, hard-fought rounds with Alexander Lindgren. He ended up leaving that fight with a TKO loss, but I'm sure he's eager to get back in the win column here tonight in Helsinki.
Yeah, 2 rounds with Alexander Lindgren is not something I would ever want to do, you know, and it's not a knock on him. Just phenomenal level of competition, but this is again excellent matchmaking, because this matchup with Henri Lintula is very, very exciting, you know, and as you can see, Quinten DeVreught always comes in tremendous shape. Very, very athletic, very exciting fighter.
To the red corner, Henri Lintula.
Okay, welcome back, Henri Lintula, a submission artist like no other. As mentioned in the three-fight package, every single victory is secured via in the very first round. In fact, he secured his pro debut victory just 47 seconds into it. And that was at Cage 36 back in September of 2016. He's currently coming off of a submission victory here at Cage as well against Yoshino Ferreira. And that was a much-needed return to the win column. After that, he came up short against another fantastic Nordic fighter in Louis Wisman. There was a meeting between two of the best Nordic welterweights at the time. He didn't really get the victory there, but he has been polishing up his striking. Honestly, last time he looked better than ever, and I'm really eager to see what he has in store here as he faces the hybrid Viking.
Yeah, you know, Henri Lintula is a grappling wizard. He's a BJJ black belt and a submission machine, as you mentioned. All first-round victories for, you know, in each of his 6 fights that he won as a pro. And everyone he's ever beaten, he has destroyed. Very, very impressive, but he's no slouch as a striker either.
Yeah, he just hasn't had a lot of opportunity to show that, really. So let's take a look at the tail of the tape here. As you can see, Henri Lintula, slightly taller, slightly longer reach. Otherwise, very similar stats. Quinten DeVreught, a little bit more experienced on the pro scene, but also a few more numbers there in the loss column. Let's see who can extend their amount of wins to 7 here tonight at Cage 56.
In the blue corner, fighter with a professional record of 6 wins and 4 losses, weighing 77.6 kilos from Norway, Quinten Hybrid Viking DeVreught. Corner fighter with a professional record of 6 wins and 1 loss, weighing 77.5 kilos from Kerava, Finland, Henri Lintula!
Okay.
Very exciting matchup here tonight. I am
low-key one of the best fights of the night, to be honest. It might just be the 3rd fight on the card, but this might be the one I'm looking forward to the most.
And look at the size of these two. For welterweight, this is insanity.
Oh,
these guys look like middleweights.
It could easily have been a middleweight contest. I wouldn't have batted an eye if you were to have told me that, Steve.
Henri Lintula gets so many accolades for his incredible grappling acumen, and he deserves them. But you know what? He's really underrated as a striker as well. He's trained Muay Thai out in Thailand. He's developed those skills. He's even, you know, put in reps sparring with tremendous partners like, for instance, Israel, the style bender Adesanya, the former UFC middleweight champion.
Yeah, absolutely. That was definitely some well-needed training there in the summer of 2020 with Israel Adesanya. And interesting here, usually Quinten DeVreught, you know, he puts a pedal to the metal from the opening seconds, but he's very aware of the submission threat that could await him in close quarters. So it's interesting that he's pacing himself a little bit more than we've seen before.
Yeah, I think it just represents that all-around Henri Lintula. Really, there is danger here, you know, and it's kind of a deceptive pace, though, I feel like, because any moment it feels like one of these two could uncork something rapid fire, and there you go, hard shot up the middle from Henri Lintula. Both measuring each other now.
And it's very rare that Quinten DeVreught finds himself facing off against a fighter who's taller than him. And I like that he began by attacking the leg there. That's a good investment heading into the later rounds. Not just because it'll, stop some of his striking offense, but say that Henri Lintula wants to shoot for a takedown. That is also going to diminish some of the power that he's going to have in that takedown attempt.
Yeah, and he's gone to the body as well, which is, of course, a great investment in terms of, diminishing the cardio output that Henri Lintula might be able to muster. I also saw a very, very rapid-fire jab from Quinten DeVreught to the face of Lintula.
And, if you were to look at Lintula's only pro loss, that started off with him eating a lot of heavy leg kicks, which forced a little bit of a sloppy takedown out of him. And, yeah, the rest was history. So Quinten DeVreught doing a very good job here at, taking a tactical approach to this fight.
Yeah, you're going to want to see a lot more investment into that leg kick if it's going to give a repeat outcome to that lone loss of Lintula. But not a bad start. He has taken the center a little bit here, though it's a very narrow thing. Good use of feints from both fighters.
And the DeVreught household, definitely a fighter's home. His fiancée, Nicole, also a fighter. He actually proposed to her on top of the rocky steps in Philadelphia. You know, how do you say no when you get to that when you're both fighters?
Yeah, that's tremendous. I've also noticed that he is a dog dad to an adorable French bulldog. So basically, you know, him and I are kindred spirits. Shout out to Ghibli.
And you know, I'm very impressed with the way that DeVreught is fighting this fight so far. He's putting him under pressure, but he's not reckless about it. Like he has
that leg
perhaps
kick.
been at times. Yeah, that's a good point, Steve. That was a very hard leg kick.
Just brutal. You're going to want to see a couple more of those. You know, this is a very, very measured pace because I think that both of these guys realize the danger that is presented by the other fighter. So really feeling each other out here.
You can tell that Lintula wants to get a little bit more cage time in the result. That was a nice strike connected there for DeVreught. But yeah, you can tell he wants to get some more striking in because last time his opponent was the one that initiated the takedown and the grappling sequence that led to the first round submission finish. I'm sure that Lintula would have preferred to stay on the feet a little bit longer.
Yeah, probably not a bad idea. You know, you want to get that kind of, while the if you have high aspirations, you want to get a little more cage time in early when the level of competition might not be as, you know, horrifyingly ruthless as it is in the big leagues, massive organizations like the UFC, etc. But this isn't the guy. Quinten DeVreught is dangerous. And so every moment spent in striking exchanges like this is one where those lights could very well be put out.
And obviously there's some noticeable improvement in the striking arsenal of Lintula, but I feel that you can see DeVreught a little bit more comfortable. His head movement is a little bit more on point. He's a little more defensively sound in terms of boxing.
Solid leg kick from Lintula earlier and then fired back twice now by Quinten DeVreught. Good overhand right lands for Lintula. Oh, a big overhand right for DeVreught. And you're also going to want to check out that left hook because DeVreught has a mean one. Now DeVreught backs him up
and honestly,
to the cage.
I like that tactic.
Shots.
He heard the final 10 seconds was approaching. He's not going to, you know, get submitted in that stretch, so why not pour it on, turn up the intensity a little bit, and just put an exclamation point on that round.
And he absolutely did, and that might have been enough to secure that in the minds of the judges.
Yeah, I think I mean, it was a close round for sure, but it did seem that he, at the very least, had the more powerful shots.
Yeah, and I think he also had the more confident approach. You know, he started really backing up Lintula and getting his back up against that cage so he could uncork those shots, and that definitely means something. Here you see left hook lands, nothing super clean in that exchange. Let's see what we have here. Yeah, comes up short, but seems like definitely some power strikes there.
Yeah, but I mean, some glancing shots, but it's I mean, you need those glancing shots to set up the haymakers that cause a knockdown, you know. It's very rarely do we see one of those, you know, the first shot is the one that puts them out. You got to find your distance, you got to find your rhythm, see what works, see what doesn't, and I think that, you know, with 5 minutes of knowledge in the books here, Quinten DeVreught might very well turn it up a little bit. Interesting, he seems to be the one with a little bit more damage in the face, but that can be deceiving.
Yeah, absolutely. Some guys just mark up real easy. Patient here, which is good because swinging in air, you know, that can be exhausting. And as we said, some of those shots didn't land so clean in round one. That one definitely did. Yeah. That right hand stung Lintula.
I'm surprised Lintula isn't resorting to a takedown here.
I'm also quite surprised by that, but I think Lintula will be surprised by the outcome of attempting that because, you know, DeVreught has some pretty solid grappling as well.
Oh, he's connecting here with these shots as well.
He's tagging him. Yep, and Lintula goes for the takedown, tries to get on the head, nothing doing.
Oh, another telegraph takedown attempt. I mean, that could be a sign of desperation that, you know, Lintula's just not liking the way this fight is going on the feet.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to like it if you're getting tagged up, but he's able to secure his hands and take the fight to the ground. He's got DeVreught's back. Let's see what he's able to do with it. My guess is this could be very, very dangerous.
Well, I mean, statistically speaking, this is where Lintula's finishes and wins come, it's on the ground. So, I mean, this is definitely his world, so to speak. Oh, it looks like he's trying to lock up.
An arm triangle here?
Triangle, perhaps, yeah.
I can't see if he has that arm in. It doesn't look like it, actually. Nope, that's a rear naked choke.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
It's kind of a sideways rear naked choke. Not the most optimal angle. Yeah, look, DeVreught's out of it.
Yeah, this is playing with fire if you're Quinten DeVreught, or really if you're anyone.
Yeah.
This is a very, very dangerous position to be in. And, oh, that's painful.
Yeah, it looked like he was perhaps trying to set up a Japanese necktie with that grip. A little hard to see, but he's out of it now regardless. Still, though, a great position if you're Henri Lintula. Inside control. And this is exactly what Lintula needed. Oh, steps into mount.
Yep, right into mount. This is a very, very dangerous spot.
Interesting. He goes again for a kind of sideways rear naked choke.
Yeah, but his arm is not under the chin here. It's not precisely there. You know, it's not comfortable, and it's a dangerous spot to be in because that, you know, position could adjust at a moment's notice. But he's not in as much danger as he could be. Now he's got that arm. Nope.
He's got a rear naked choke, but he's
got that arm in. Yeah, it's like an old school sleeper hold or something like that. You can crank the neck though from that position. Now he's got it. He's got to fight for that. He's got to fight that hand though.
Left foot. There's the tap.
Wow.
Oh wow. Henri Lintula with another submission.
A single arm rear naked choke.
That is how good of a grappler Henri Lintula is.
And look at the face here of Quinten DeVreught. He's banged up, you know?
Yeah.
In no time flat, that went from a potentially dangerous scenario on the feet for Henri Lintula to really just one-way traffic for Henri Lintula on the ground.
I mean, he dragged Quinten DeVreught into deep waters, and those deep waters is where he thrives. He's like a shark on the ground.
Yeah, in 1.5 rounds, he put, you know, the feeling of 3 rounds on him. So that's very, very impressive. Pushed the pace and really just crushed him. Beautiful work here, securing the back and getting that arm around the neck. You know, even with one arm, he's able to basically leverage, you know, get enough leverage to crank on that neck quite hard just by tucking his arm under his own chin. That's phenomenal work by Henri Lintula. Very, very creative. And I think you're not expecting that to sneak up on you, but boom, there it is.
I mean, yeah, it's like a creeper the way that he sunk that in. That was very, very slick. He needed just one arm to secure that submission. Very, very nice.
And what's interesting here is I think he's lulling him into a false sense of security, like, oh, I'm not in any danger because that other arm isn't there. And the next thing you know, you're tapping. Very beautiful performance from Henri Lintula in that second round. There's a very high ceiling for this fighter.
Oh, absolutely. How far can he go is a question.
Let's hear that official decision.
Hyvä yleisö, Cage toivottaa tervetulleeksi uuden yhteistyökumppanin. Tervetuloa Nolla Kova Sooda. Nolla Kova Sooda on nyt saatavilla täysi-ikäisille Kultsan ravintoloista. Katsomaan anniskelun myötä juomat on mahdollista nauttia omilta paikoilta. Muistakaa nauttia vastuullisesti. Ladies and gentlemen, referee Hokkanen is going to stop this fight after 3 minutes and 5 seconds in second round. Winner by rear naked choke, Henri Lintula!
Make it 2 in a row for Henri Lintula. You know, really proving that black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was well earned. I mean, this guy is just vicious on the ground. You give him an inch, he takes a meter.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, getting some second round experience there with a second round finish really shows that he was maybe looking to get a little bit of cage time in. And he learned a lot, you know, in his one lone defeat. But he came back in action soon after that September win against Yosimar Ferreira. And he proved, hey, I can get it done any round I want.
Henri, onneksi olkoon, todella hieno voitto.
Kiitos paljon.
Mä katselin, että sulla oli ensin taktiikkana pysyä pystyssä koko ajan. Meinaisitko ensin päättää tämän ottelun pystyottelilla?
En mä siitä tiedä, mutta sulla on vähän sanomista, nää on liian nopeet nää mun. Niin. Katellaan hetki ja sit tokas kaveri ulos.
Aika tutulla tavalla se päättyi kuitenkin, mutta oli ilmeisesti aika hankala kaveri kuristettavaksi tuolla matossa.
Joo, kyllä se on sitkeä kaveri. Me katsottiin sitä siinä viime cage-matsissa, että ei se oikein kuristuksiin jäänyt. Silloin nyt jäi.
Todella hieno voitto, onneksi olkoon Henri.
Kiitos paljon.
Henri Lintula!
Henri Lintula just basking in the applause of the hometown crowd here tonight. What an exceptional performance.
I mean, he just doesn't miss when he's on the ground. I liked actually that he did face some adversity there, but he did have to sort of battle his way back into a fight, take control, and you know, again, showing some improvement on the feet. Probably still has a little ways to go there, but he definitely has really established himself as a top contender here on the Nordic welterweight rankings.
Yeah, I mean, he's fought through some tough spots before, but you know, I really think that DeVreught had a little edge there in that first round, and Lintula wasn't having it come second round. Once that second stanza opened, it was all action for him.